how can they go from like Gervonta Davis to Francis Ngannou? Come on, like the weight different and everything. It make no sense. It make no sense. Nikisa reached out the other day and tell me how they need a replacement for Gervonta. Then I say, okay, what can I do for you? He said, yeah, we're looking for a replacement, but I still haven't get it. I was like, okay, then what exactly can I do for you? Like we would think about you to find Jake. I'm like, what? I'm like, who's Jake? I was so confused. I'm like, no, bro, come on. Don't disrespect me like that. He sent out some number. I'm like, it's not about the number. I'm not just interested. It makes no sense for me.
Is it flattering at least that they're thinking about you?
Yeah, I think it's disrespectful instead. What flattering? Come on.
Jake Paul has done it again, and this time he's managed to send shockwaves through both the boxing and MMA worlds. After his highly anticipated fight with Gervonta "Tank" Davis was officially canceled due to Tank's latest legal issues, Jake wasted no time in finding a new target, but not just anyone. He called out the Predator himself, Francis Ngannou. That's right, the YouTuber turned boxer who was set to face someone nearly 60 pounds lighter than him has now gone completely the other direction, challenging one of the most terrifying heavyweights in combat sports history. Jake Paul said, quote, "If Tank can't fight, I'll take on a real monster."
And Jake Paul's looking for a new opponent for Gervonta Davis, right? Yep. Gervonta Davis, dude, bud. Quit getting in fucking trouble, dude. How many times? You ever look at his rap sheet? What the fuck, dude?
He sent an offer to Ryan Garcia.
That'd be interesting. God, who the fuck's gonna take that on about a week's notice? Might be 2 weeks. Is it the 12th?
So it's supposed to be the 14th.
Today's the 3rd. You have 11 days. To find a replacement, I've canceled Francis and Nate Diaz are two of the no. Francis?
That'd be ridiculous, obviously.
That would be awesome. The Nate Diaz would eat shit on there. They've already fought, and it still didn't do great. I mean, if Nate wants to get paid, get your bag, dog. I get it. Francis would be fucking wild. It says other names are Ryan Garcia. I could see him doing it. Terrence Crawford?
No way.
Francis is my. I'd love to see Francis Jake. If that bad boy's an actual boxing match, take my money.
Gervonta Davis really did take the piss. I mean, that was just the craziest shout ever. To go from fighting Gervonta Davis to now boxing Francis Ngannou. I mean, listen, if he does it, fair play. But I just call #1 bullshit on this brother. I don't see this happening.
Attention, but let's start over here just in case you're not understanding. There's a rumor going around that Tank Davis may not make it to the Jake Paul fight. Now, I gotta tell you, for me, that's irritating and that's weird. A rumor can last, particularly in today's social media, for about an hour, and then we call Tank Davis or we call Jake Paul, we call somebody that's involved and we ask, is this accurate? Well, we've done all of those things. And we still don't have clarity on the answer. The way that the story goes, to the best of the understanding over here of the researchers at Bad Guy Inc., is that Tank Davis has a potential pending legal issue. And I don't want to dismiss that. I don't want to make light of that, and I don't really know anything more about it. But what's that got to do with it? I mean, what are you telling me? Are you telling me that there could be some paperwork filed that is going to drag Tank Davis and his legal team in a direction? What would that have to do with fighting Jake Paul? Now, is that because you don't want to do business with a guy that could have those accusations out there? You don't do business with any guy that happens to have impending legal issues. I'm asking, I'm giving you an opportunity to answer the question. You don't believe in innocent until proven guilty, or maybe you got a state commission, and the state commission, which by the way, gives a license, which is a privileged license, and perhaps they're going to warrant it under review, and it's going to hold up the fight. I mean, I'm just throwing all these different options at you. I'm trying to understand. If Tank Davis has a contract and a promise to fight Jake Paul, and Tank Davis is willing to honor that contract, and Tank Davis is not injured or ill,
let's see if the big guy can handle these hands. Fans were stunned, fighters were laughing, and the MMA world immediately exploded with reactions. Within hours, Ngannou fired back in classic fashion, calm, cold, and dismissive. He said, "Jake's gone from fighting someone half his size to calling out someone twice his size. It's ridiculous." And to be fair, he's got a point.
Jake Paul goes from fighting Gervonta Davis to calling out Francis Ngannou. Jake Paul don't want those problems. I can't say it any different. Jake Paul does not want any Francis Ngannou problems. He don't. He does not want those issues. While I think it's crazy and I credit him for doing that, and I'm surprised he did that, this could be a ploy. Him poking out his chest, saying, I want Francis. He don't want those Francis Ngannou problems. I don't care what Anthony Joshua did to Francis Ngannou. Jake Paul gets in there with Francis. Francis will knock his head off this planet. You don't want those Francis problems. I watched Francis put down Tyson Fury. Sure, Anthony Joshua beat him. But even if Jake got power, I don't think he got power to be dealing with Francis. Because all it takes is for one to land and he gonna put you up.
Name one person you'd rather see Jake Paul fight. Name one person, if they're going to fill in, you'd rather see than Francis Ngannou. Which, by the way, a large part of the Jake story is hatred towards Jake, right? Like people wanted to pull him down because he is so over-succeeded in this area. But then secondly, is a real challenge. Now, how Tyron Woodley, Ben Askren, Anderson Silva, Mike Tyson, how those aren't real challenges, I don't know. But this is the story as we're told. And do you see where that would satisfy so much? Do you see where that would force even the biggest hater to be quiet? So my partner Ryan and I are talking about this, right? My goodness, Francis Ngannou solves the problem. Well, so just in, that was Ryan's voice that you heard. TMZ right now has released a statement from Francis, and he says, that would make absolutely no sense for me. All right. I've gone my separate ways from Francis, right? I really have. I can't make any money with Francis. It's a very unique and small crowd that knows who Francis is or is interested in Francis. But one of the things that I've always had to cover when it comes to Francis, and one of the reasons I have such a difficult time praising him.
Ngannou has spent years fighting legitimate heavyweight killers inside the octagon and the boxing ring. Jake Paul, on the other hand, has fought retired MMA fighters, smaller boxers, and entertainers. A fight between them would be like a cruiserweight stepping into the ring with a literal tank. But Jake Paul's confidence is unmatched. He thrives on chaos, and every time people count him out, he finds a way to make the fight world talk about him. Whether it's marketing genius or genuine self-belief, Jake knows exactly how to create controversy. And this latest call-out has done exactly that. The situation also raises questions about what's next for both fighters. Jake Paul was supposed to face Gervonta Davis in what would have been one of the biggest crossover fights in recent history, but now, with Tank's legal troubles potentially sidelining him for months, Jake needs a massive replacement, and Francis Ngannou is the biggest name possible.
It appears as though the Jake Paul versus Tank Davis fight is on thin ice, shaky ground. Again, I've been locked in here, but that was as of, well, 12:45. I'm pretty sure it has been reported by multiple outlets that they are, well, first of all, MVP put out a statement that they were doing their own investigation after the reports regarding the new Tank Davis allegations came out last week, and there's no conclusion to that investigation, but it seems like all signs are pointing to them going in a different direction. A civil lawsuit was filed in the Miami-Dade County region. According to the lawsuit, Davis is being accused by an ex-girlfriend of battery, aggravated battery, false imprisonment, kidnapping, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Lawsuit comes 2 months after Davis's previous domestic violence case was dropped by a different ex-girlfriend and the mother of 2 of the boxer's 3 children. I just think MVP is in the business of being the home of women, right? At this point, like, that's a huge part of their identity. What is their identity? It's Jake Paul and women's boxing. That's their identity right now. And they've done a phenomenal job for the women. And so how, with these allegations lingering and now coming to light 2 weeks before, how can you go through with it? And it sounds like they feel the same way. It's an impossible spot to be in.
The only
both literally and figuratively. Ngannou, however, isn't taking the bait. He's currently focused on heavyweight boxing and potential rematches with the likes of Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder. A fight with Jake Paul, in his eyes, would be nothing short of a circus act, but fans can't help but imagine the chaos if it somehow happened. Jake Paul walking into the ring against a man who can knock someone out with a single punch. It sounds insane, but it's exactly the kind of headline Jake loves to chase. Even Joe Rogan, who's followed both careers closely, has commented on how wild this idea is, saying it's pure insanity for Jake to even consider fighting someone like Ngannou. But that's Jake Paul. He's unpredictable, confident, and always ready to shake the system, and whether you love him or hate him, one thing's for sure: Jake Paul knows how to make the combat world stop and stare. The fight world may laugh at the idea, but until Francis officially slams the door shut, don't be surprised if Jake finds a way to keep this narrative alive. Because for Jake Paul, controversy isn't the problem, it's the business plan.